Oh, hello guys. So a few days ago I showed you how I work on my bash script, the bash script for Debian after Debian install actually. But I thought there is so much easier thing to do, and this is of course installing Debian without the hassle, and this is of course installing a Debian based distro that has already done all the heavy lifting. For example, today we're gonna take a look at Spiral Linux. This is one of those distros. They claim to be easy to use out of the box distro with simplicity. They have so many tweaks and features you can read here. I'm gonna make sure I leave their page on the description down below if you want to go and try it. It's amazing distro. They have so many different spins, actually desktop environments. Today in this video I have decided to try the Plasma one, but if you want to choose something else, that's okay. Another thing that I like to show you is they have a hardware support pre-installed from the Debian backports. They have an easy way step-by-step instructions if you want to do the Debian testing or unstable branch instead of the stable one. Just go to the instructions. It's a pretty self-explanatory, it's pretty easy to do. We will check it out when we install the distro. So much it is done for you without the hassle of doing it yourself or doing like me bash scripting. And if you have installed Debian before, you know what I'm talking about. Although the vanilla Debian gets better and better with every release, it's still distros like this, they gonna have success because especially new users or users that they don't wanna spend too much time configuring their distro out of the box after the install. So I'm not gonna spend too much time here. Let's get to the virtual machine of Spiral Linux that I have prepared for this video. I'll see you in a second, guys. Okay, so we are on the virtual machine of Spiral Linux. This is the KDE, and as you can see, it's this greenish wallpaper. This is a trademark for these guys. They also, I think it's important to mention, these are the same guys, the same team. I'm not sure how many people of them, but okay. So this is the same people that do the Gecko Linux project, which is pretty similar to the Spiral Linux. They just use the OpenSUSE as their base. They made it user friendly, the same idea as here. So they use the same wallpaper over there. Now let's get to the installation. It's pretty easy. They use the Calamares installer, as you can see. You have seen one, you have seen them all. I'm not gonna spend too much time here. It's pretty easy to install, pretty self-explanatory. Just pick your language, click next. Location, it's New York, it's okay for me. The keyboard layout, that's okay. Now, of course, if you are installing this on the real hardware, I strongly recommend to back up all your data because it's gonna get erased and nothing you can do after that to get it back. Now, I'm gonna choose the swap to file. They use the Btrfs by default, which is amazing for the snapshots they have. So let's get to the next step, which is creating a user. I'm gonna get really creative here, don't mind me. And you have the review of everything you have selected through the installation process. Now, if everything looks okay for you, just click install and wait for the installation to finish. Now this is going to take a few minutes. I'll come back when that is done. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Okay, the installation it's done now. Actually took a few minutes, which is pretty impressive. Now all you have to do is just restart the machine and get ready to use our brand new Spiral Linux. And we are back. This is already the installed system of Spiral Linux. Let's take a really quick look at it. I'm not gonna go too deep. So this is the KDE desktop. I'm not gonna show you too much of it because I am pretty sure you have seen that before. It's just this menu here, it's reminiscent of the old KDE back in the day, which I'm not big fan of it. It looks a little bit of the Windows XP too. I'm gonna just switch it to the one I'm familiar with and the one I like. This is the application launcher. Oh yeah, this is already so much better. So if you are again a new user and you want to install a Debian, I would really recommend this distro for you. Again, it's so much easier to install, it's so much easier to maintain. I will try to show you why. The first thing is you have already seen the installable live DVD. Now this is again the built on Debian stable, but they have a newer hardware support with the pre-installed Debian backports. For example, let's take a look at the kernel. As you can see, this is the 6.4 kernel, which is already newer. It's not the newest one, but it's much better than the 6.1 that is in the vanilla Debian. Let's check if there is any updates. I expect to be as much. Now they have advertised themselves with a user with the installed this system on their hardware. They almost never need to go to the terminal. They have the opportunity to administer their system only with the graphical interface, which is pretty awesome. Let's go to the Discover, their software center. It's gonna take a few seconds to load in the first time. And as you can see here on the bottom, it's already checking for updates. And of course, it found a few, 54 of them. Let's take a look. Okay, you can take a look all of the available updates. You can check or uncheck the one that you want or the one that you don't need, or just select everything at once. As you can see, they already have a newer version of the Linux kernel, which is 6.5. Let's get and click update right now. It's gonna prompt for our password. That's to be expected. Now this should take a few minutes. Let's take a look at another thing. Go to the settings, and as you can see, the flat hub it's already enabled and installed out of the box. This is one of the things this distro it's already advertised, and it's saying they have graphical manager to use the Flatpak packages. So for example, if you are looking for Brave browser, it's already here and it's a Flatpak version. Let's open it and see. There is no other option because Brave browser, as far as I know, it's not available in the Debian repository, at least not yet. I think it's Debian's. No, it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not. They have a .debian package, maybe? I don't know, don't quote me on that. But anyway. So this is another thing that I have already wiped, because if you know, I do this manually. I did the script in the last video that installs the FlatHub and enables it before I start installing some software from the FlatHub repository. This is being already done. Okay, another thing that they say it's so much easy to do here, it's of course installing, or rather upgrade, from the Debian stable to Debian testing or even unstable branches. Let's take a look. Go to the instructions of their documentation. They have a pretty easy install guide. Let's check it out. So the first thing is go to the Synaptic settings, open the Synaptic. Now you need a password to use this tool. Yes, I have expected that. This is because we are updating and using the Discover, so we gonna have to wait about this a little bit. I'm gonna pause again the video here until all the updates are downloaded and installed. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Okay, so all of the updates are downloaded and installed. Let's refresh just in case. Yes, there is no more updates. Now, before we continue, I would strongly recommend you to reboot your system, especially with newer kernel installed. So let's go and do that. We're gonna restart. Plus, I want to check out, yes, there is a Spiral Linux snapshot. Let's go there, and it's already have two snapshots of our system. That's pre and post. This is pretty awesome. So if anything goes south with your system, you can always reboot and choose one of the snapshots. For example, you have date. If you remember what you were doing, when was the last snapshot you did, you can just always come back to that and fix your system. This is potentially awesome. Now we are booting into the newer kernel 6.5. So another thing, this is pretty good for you, that you have a newer hardware. Okay, so we should be good to go now. Our system is fully updated and renewed. Now let's check out the kernel version again. We should be on the 6.5. Yes, we are. This is already so much better for you guys that you have so much newer hardware. Now you have potentially most, if not all, of the support out of the box of this system. Now another thing I would want to check out, this system, it's famous one. They are advertising that it's so much easy to upgrade from Debian to Debian testing or unstable with their step-by-step instructions. Let's go and check out the instructions. So the first thing is go to the Synaptic settings, go to the repository. Let's go and do that. Synaptic package manager needs validation with password. Okay, so we are going to the settings, repositories. The next step is go to uncheck, disable all of the repositories in the Debian software tab. Okay, we can do that. Now go to other software. Disable all the repositories and then enable the Debian testing or Debian sit unstable repository. Okay, that's easy. Let's go and do that. I would choose, let's go with the Debian sit. What's next? Now back in the main Synaptic interface, reload the package list and then mark all upgrades and hit apply. Okay, that's pretty easy to do. So let's close that. Let's reload, and there should be a lot of packages that needs to be updated once again. Let's see. Okay, mark all upgrades. You can check them out. They are a lot of packages here. See how many there is. This is not a surprise. All right. Awesome. So again, if you have so much newer software, you would like to live on the edge. As you can see, it's really so much easy to transfer your system from the stable to the unstable or testing branch of the Debian, which I don't think it's really necessary to do because they already have backported most of the drivers that you need for your system. Plus, I'm not gonna do that right now, but plus, again, I'm gonna open the Discover Center, their software center. Plus, like we said, they already have enabled FlatHub repository out of the box, so you are able to install all the packages or all the software that is a so much newer version than the old Debian package, which is, I don't think it's so much needed to do for the unstable version. This is the graphical of all the updates of all the packages that need to be updated after the unstable branch transfer. Take a look how many of they are. I'm not gonna do that right now. There is no point, at least for this video. If you want to go and do it. Okay, this I think it's going to be all I would like to show you right now. I'm not gonna spend too much. I think you get the point with this video. Okay, so at this point, I really liked what I saw during this during making this video, so I have decided to go ahead and try this for myself. So I installed the Spiral Linux, the KDE version on my main machine. I just wanted to see how it's gonna handle a real hardware, and this is footage of me starting to set it up for me using it for at least a few, I don't know, few days, a few weeks. I don't know how that's gonna went. I was curious, like I said. I installed it, I start updating it. You have already seen this in the virtual machine. Now this is a real hardware. I start customizing the desktop environment, the KDE in this case, to my liking because, well, this is not the way I really like to look at the KDE. Plus, well, if I'm going to use this system, at least I want to make the effort to do the way I want it to. This is pretty standard now. I have everything that I did nothing special here. This is pretty standard. Just move the bar to the top. This is how I like it. You will see what I did during this. So I have very good first impressions. It runs pretty well. Again, this is a real hardware, so I mean, it's not like I'm surprised, but It's one thing to run it in the virtual machine, it's whole another thing to run it on a real hardware. So far I am really impressed of this distro, it runs pretty good, but at some point I start getting into a little slight problem you will see in a minute. Now I have decided to install the NVIDIA driver, and this is where my problems started. You will see soon enough. I don't know what happened. Usually on the vanilla Debian I have no problem installing the NVIDIA driver, but here for some reason something happened and it gave me some errors. You will see in a second. I have no idea why. I don't know how to fix it. I've been trying for the whole day playing with it. I even have downloaded another version. This is the GNOME version I'm talking about. I have installed that one on my laptop. I have tried to do the same thing and it gave me the same error. So it's not only my hardware, at least not my hardware on this main machine you see right now, because the error is the same. At some point I have decided to try and log in with the vanilla 6.1 kernel. I thought might be the kernel's issue here with my hardware and with the NVIDIA. I thought that's gonna fix it, but it didn't. So please, if any of you have any idea why this is happening, please let me know. I would really appreciate that, because like I said, I've been fighting with this for almost whole day. Eventually I gave up, so I'm gonna leave it like this. At the end of the day, I really like this distro even on my real hardware before, well, running into the problem with NVIDIA driver. So I would really recommend this distro, strongly even recommend this distro to all of you, especially new users that you want to try and install Debian. This is really nice, pre-configured. After all, this is a really good distribution to try, especially if you are a new user to Linux and you want to go with the Debian. Because like I said, Debian, the vanilla Debian, it's not really that user friendly to install and configured. And with Spiral Linux you get all the good stuff out of the box. You have the live environment, you have everything pre-configured and ready to go out of the box again. You have a newer hardware support. So everything you would like to do, even for me, that seemed like a really good idea, because I was gonna do all of this all by myself. So I thought, why do the hustle when somebody already have did the heavy lifting for me? But again, NVIDIA driver kicked my ass now. So if you have no NVIDIA driver or you are not intending to use it, if you are okay with the open source drivers, you're not going to do any gaming, or of course if you have the AMD graphics or Intel graphics, well, this is the basically this is the perfect Debian distro for you. I again encourage you to try it for yourself. So I'm gonna end up the video here. Please do let me know if you have any input with everything you saw on this video, if you have any idea why this error with the NVIDIA driver happened. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.